Welcome to the Soul Tribe Podcast. The Soul Tribe Podcast was created to help you navigate through the world of spirituality, wellness, and self-development in an easy, grounded, and relatable way. We break down everything from the Akashic Records, manifesting, spirituality, and so much more. We want to help expand your boundaries and bring the spiritual world to you in a fun and easy way. Get ready to be inspired with tips, tools, and easy to digest information. Let's do this.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Soul Tribe Podcast. Lucia here, and I'm actually doing this solo episode today. So the last time Lorena did a solo, she was sharing snippets of an episode that she had done in our community. And I thought it would be nice for me to do as well a similar episode where I share with you guys snippets of an episode that I have done for our community. And I'm going to extend a little bit and talk a little bit, explain what it's about before I'll play the snippet parts. All the snippets come from the same episode, just in case you're wondering. And it deep dives even more in between like the audio that I picked. But the idea is, I didn't think it was a good idea to put all of it. Number one, because that's not fair to our community that, that signed up and are part of that membership program and that they get to listen to additional episodes and they signed up for that and to be part of the community. But I did want to share with you guys because I wanted everybody to kind of get a bit of an experience with what it sounds like on my episodes, because since everybody got an experience from Lorena's previous episode. And Lorena and I put, on our community, what Lorena does is she does her solo episode of the month, and then I do my solo episode of the month, and then we do an episode together in the month. And so Lorena and I, as you know, we're very different energies. We're very different in the way, the things that we vibrate with and how we talk about things and what things we're interested in and what we work on. And so just like that as well, you'll notice in the community that our episodes, mine tends to really go towards the galactic information and really interesting information that have to do with the energies that are coming to shift our human evolution and other races and, all those things that if you know me, and if you're listening to the podcast for a while, you know that I usually kind of maneuver towards those things. Whereas Lorena is a lot more like, she does some astrology, it talks a lot about like emotions and shifting from the emotional standpoint. And so we, it's the duality that is Lorena and I that we kind of bring ourselves together. We're like a full circle. Okay, so today I'm going to be playing snippets. The episode is basically about starseeds and karma. And this originally came up as a subject because as you guys heard us say before, our community is about giving additional content and additional information out per month, right? More episodes. But at the same time, our biggest thing is it's about all of us getting together and talking. So we have direct contact with everybody. We talk to everybody. We discuss things. Everybody gives their opinion. It's not just about me and Lorena saying, this is what I think, right? It's about everybody giving their opinion and sharing and everybody supporting each other. It's not just like Lorena and I supporting everybody. It's each like everybody in the group, each of them are supporting each other. So it's really cool. So with that said, you understand that when we have discussions, questions come up and kind of like discussions are like, hey, what happens when this happens? Or what about this? Or what about that? And so one of those things that came up in the community, the chat group was, what's the deal with karma or like the samsara wheel and starseeds? Because since we're here, starseeds have come here to help the majority of them for the evolutionary process, for the evolution of the human, right? The human being, the human avatar. And so it's really interesting to think, well, are we also stuck in the samsara wheel, the karma wheel? Are we still going through that as well as other people that came here specifically just for the evolution and they aren't evolved? And so that's how the kind of question came up. It's like, is it the same or is it not? And so these snippets that you'll be hearing is answering about that question. And as you guys know, I'm really into talking. And then when I get into things, I kind of derail a little bit. So I do speak a little bit about like what is a starseed? Because I think it's important because you hear a lot about starseeds. And I'm wondering sometimes like what does starseed mean for everybody? Like the person that's speaking about a starseed, what do they think the starseed is? So I define what I believe is a starseed, so I can clarify that this is what I'm talking about when I talk about starseed. I do believe, though, the majority of the people that talk about starseeds use it in the same context that I do. So I don't think it differs that much from the people, at least that I've heard use the word. But just in case, or maybe, there's new people in the community that don't know what a starseed is or are new to the word, I explain a little bit what I believe and what I feel to be a starseed. And then I dive into things like, obviously, a tiny bit of the history. Like, you'll hear me talk about Lemuria and Atlantis. And if you're new to the information of Lemuria Atlantis, it's two different civilizations that were here on Earth, very far back, of course. And what you need to understand is they both vibrated in different densities. So if you're new and you don't know exactly what I mean by density, it's basically we're in 3D. And so 3D means third density. And we're supposedly having a quantum leap that's taking us into 5D, which is fifth density. And so if you hear me talk about Lemuria Atlantis, both those civilizations had different densities. So Atlantis was vibrating, it began vibrating a bit higher, like in fifth, and it started its descent down, and then it ended us in third density, where it carried on in third density up into our time now, where we're supposedly leaping out of it. And in the case of Lemuria is said to have began in ninth density. So they were vibrating very high. They had a lot of things integrated in themselves that we lost with the fall of Atlantis. And so Lemuria was a much more advanced civilization. They weren't so warrior-like, because Atlantis did have warrior-like energy, and there began the process of, I guess you could say, control and manipulation, and enslavement began to exist, or was existing already. And so the Lemurian civilization was much more, I guess you could say, neutral. They were much more neutral. They had many more aspects of themselves integrated, and they didn't look to become more powerful or more controlling or things like that when they initiated. Of course, they began their fall from ninth, and they began slowly coming down in density to fifth. And my perspective on that, I don't know what you might think as an individual or the information that you've kind of come in contact with, because a lot of people will think, we've been put into that, I guess you'd say, that scenario, that situation, via beings or external beings that want to control us, or, want to have their way and make this earth theirs. Whatever your perspective is, understand that no matter what, this was going to happen, because there was only one way to further evolve the human body. And you guys are going to hear me say avatar. I say a lot, the human avatar, because this is a designed, structured body. It was designed, and the whole idea was that it was going to come down to this density. It was going to be able to hold the fractal that is a soul. So your soul is able to be contained inside of this body. So it's an avatar body. And if you want to think about it and try to zoom out so you can better understand it, because maybe you've never looked at it this way or thought about it in this way, just think about the movie Avatar and how the guy goes into, like, I don't know what do you call it, like the bed thing where he lays down and he closes it and he ends up in that blue body that is the avatar body. Think of that guy going in that like cocoon-like thingy. Think of that being your soul. And your soul vibrates and is totally different from this avatar body, but it's just being contained inside of this avatar body that is a human body to have an experience. So understanding that, I think will be able, if you're new to this information, you might be able to more understand what I'm about to discuss. So in the community where I share additional episodes, I know that the majority of the members, they've already looked into this. They're very aware of this information. They're very integrated with this information. Some people have the same perspective. Some people have a little bit different perspective, and that's okay. We don't have to all agree with everything. But I have the liberty of being able to dive even deeper and say more things. And sometimes it might sound a little complex at moments if you're just beginning with this. So I'm just knowing that the podcast has people from different aspects or different growths of understanding the spiritual world. I prefer to clarify this a little bit more before I play the snippets so that you feel more comfortable with the information if you are new to it. But in the community, there's parts of this audio that I took out, number one, out of respect for the community members who, sign up and have rights to more material and things like that. But as well, because a lot of that information that I cut out is a bit more deep diving, and I don't know if everyone listening understands it or is like fully ready to integrate that. And I don't want to confuse people. But anyways, just saying that, I don't want to deter anyone that might be ready to dive in deeper or might be ready to understand more of this stuff, or someone that's like, oh my God, like I don't fully get this, but I want to get this, and I want to get into all this. I don't want to deter anyone from signing up or like becoming part of our community. Maybe a lot of people sign up just for the community. Some people sign up for the extra content and the deeper diving that Lorraine and I do. And some people sign up for both. And I don't want to deter anyone from signing up, because you have a lot of content. Like as soon as you sign up to our membership, you have a lot of content, and you can go back from the moment that we created it. So it's been going on for years now. So there's a lot of stuff to listen to, and you can get yourself up to speed with all the material and slowly begin to understand and learn everything that we talk about on the membership platform. Okay, so with that said, let's just make sure that I'm covering everything I wanted to before I play the snippet. So there's a part of that episode that I did where I talked about the August energy, and so we are currently in June, so that means to get to August we have left July, and then we have August in itself, the whole month. Super pivotal and important energy moments. The energy coming in you could feel it like disruptive. I'll raise my hand for that, by the way, because the scenarios I'm going through with Lorraine right now are very disruptive, because it's helping you clear out stuff. So it could be very disruptive. It could be very aligning. Maybe you don't have to like get rid of anything and you're just ready to align things. It could be very aligning. It could be awakening. It could be you taking your next step and saying, I've been wanting to learn this, or I've been wanting to do this, or I've been wanting to make this movement over here. It might be the energy that you needed to take that step to sign up for that course, or take that job, or make that move, or whatever, or all of those. It might come in, like I said, disruptive, because you need to release, undo belief systems, unknot traumas, release fear, get rid of things that were holding you back. And so it might come in a little disruptive. And just know that the information in August, I tend to call it, some people call it, we'll like talk about it and be like, oh, we have a massive solar flare coming in, or we're aligning with this solar system or this star or whatever. I like to just say in general what's happening in the energy is we're getting packages of information. So if you ever, or if you've signed up for my Cosmic You classes, because I have Cosmic You video 1 and video 2 and video 3, each of them with different subjects. The idea is to get people up to speed with all the cosmic information, the universal information, the information about our creator, and all these things that you guys know that I like study and channel and get into a lot, and I'm obsessed with, because I believe that integrating that information helps you better advance and helps you become a much better co-creator. Because if you understand how the system functions, you can use it to your advantage. Imagine, it's like, think about it as like you want to become a teacher. You need to figure out how the educational system functions so you can fully become a teacher and understand how to be a teacher and how to be part of that team. Well, I think of us as co-creators in the same way. How can we be proper co-creators if we don't even understand how the whole system is created and how it functions? I'm not talking about the distorted negative information that we all think, oh, this race came here and did this on the earth, or this happened over here, or that happened over there, or we're enslaved, or, whatever. Like, that information is information that a lot of it is true, but twisted with a fear perspective so that you limit yourself. What I try to do in Cosmic You is give you empowering information so you can become an active, involved, and knowledgeable co-creator with our creator, because you can't be creator if you're not integrated with our universal source. Call it source, call it energy, call it creator, call it God, call it whatever you want. Put in whatever box makes you feel comfortable, because that's what it really is. It's just a label, right? But integrating yourself, becoming a co with that name, that co-creator of the source, that you fully believe in and pray to and align with or meditate for or meditate with, you cannot be actively co-creating with that energy if you don't even understand the whole structure of everything. And that's my opinion. I invite you to defer from my opinion, and that's okay. That's my opinion, and I've personally found that the more I deep dive into this information, and then I have to bring it all together, and I have to understand it as best as I can, and then I have to dive deeper, and then understand it more, and then dive deeper until I finally figured it out in a way that my human brain, because we'll never be able to comprehend it fully because our neocortex cannot bring it in. But the best I can as a human being with the neocortex that I have, I try to integrate it to a point where I can then pass it on to people to learn it as well. And that's when I believe that's when you start getting empowered. And also, you start becoming much more positive about things. So, a lot of this information that I talk about dives even more into all of that with my Cosmic You courses. And a lot of the people that are in the community have signed up for the Cosmic You courses. So, they understand everything I'm saying, really. They understand all of that. But they also would know, and you guys might have heard me talk about this, like I was just saying, packages of information. And so some people might call it solar flares, some people call it Align with the Star. It comes in via the sun, and that's what I'm teaching Cosmic You is one of those videos. The sun brings us down the information. The information is grabbed on our bodies. Eventually it reaches our bodies, and our bodies grab onto it, and it converts it into what it needs. So we can integrate information, make the human body evolutionary shifts that we need to. But as I always clarify, you have to be detoxed. If you're intoxicated, if your body's overly full of toxins and junk that's bringing the frequency down, that solar flare, that information, that package of information can hit you, like the one that's coming in August, that's bigger than the March one that I talked about previously. Your body cannot grab it. Your body cannot take it, and your body cannot do anything with it. That doesn't mean that you're out of the game, by the way. It just means that you're physically or mentally or emotionally or spiritually not ready for it. And that's okay, because this isn't the only chance you have. This is just one of the first very important shifts that's happening on Earth. And there's so many more to come. And so many more souls will come on board with this as we progress down the line of the years passing, moving into 5D. So don't feel alarmed. Don't go running and freaking out, because that's going to lower your frequency. And that's besides the point. But understand that I call those packages of information that come via the sun, that our bodies grab onto, and that convert everything into what it needs to create the internal shifts of the body, the consciousness, and all these other great things. We start running new software, so you'll have a new hardware, start running new software, all these things that, like I was saying, I talk about Cosmic You even more and explain it even better. But understand that when I talk about August and I talk about packages of information, I'm talking about that. At one point in snippets, I talk about quarantine. And so I'm not talking about COVID. I'm not talking about what happened in 2020. Quarantine is this magnetic field that was placed around Earth when, I guess you could say, to make this easier explained, our creator or source realized that things were becoming a bit too dualistic or a bit too dense here on Earth. And so a quarantine had to be implemented, which it comes in as a magnetic field around Earth. And basically that magnetic field didn't let things come in or out, aka, entities, beings, races. Whatever was already in the system was in the system, and what was out of the system couldn't come and disturb the system. And that was the point, to protect this whole thing that was going on here, that was part of the evolutionary plan of the humankind and the human collective. And so the quarantine that I speak about is that magnetic field shield that ended up being part of the reason of the samsara wheel, or the karmic cycle of reincarnation. So you'll hear me talk about the quarantine. Now you understand what I'm talking about if you didn't previously know that. And, okay, so now I'm going to play the snippets that, again, so you realize that it's snippets of one same episode that's from our membership community, and it will talk about all these things that you just heard me further explain, because I wanted to prepare you and make sure that you understood what I was talking about. So enjoy, guys. Do starseeds get caught up in the karmic cycle, or some people call it the samsara wheel, right? Do starseeds. So, okay, let's define a starseed just to make sure that we all understand what I at least talk about when I talk about starseed. For me, a starseed is an individual soul that has had experiences on other planetary systems, and it's already began its development or evolutionary stages, and it might have culminated it. It might have already fully expanded and developed to a really important point or expansion level. And it's already had a bunch of experiences on other planetary systems. Maybe it's one, maybe it's two, maybe it's three. It doesn't have to be just one planet. It doesn't have to be just one race. So some souls might have had experiences in 3 different races, and then now it's here on Earth, for example. So for me, that's a starseed. A soul that's had experiences on other planetary systems or other planetary matrices. And in those systems, it began its process of evolution, or it's actually maybe even culminated that process of evolution on that planet, for example. And so most starseeds are that, and then they've come here to Earth either because of the really particular specific scenario that's playing out on Earth, that they're like, dude, this scenario over here that's playing out on Earth is so interesting, and it's going to be so unique that I want to experience it. So that might be one of the reasons why starseed's here, just for the experience of it, because it's so particular, it's so specific, and it's so unique in experience that you can't get it on the other planetary systems, at least in our universe right now, to the same level. Because here is really difficult, and we've called this with Lorena before, the Earth boot camp, right? Because here, like, you evolve real quickly, like souls like learn real quickly, because it's like more bang for your buck. We've said that before. So it might be that a starseed came here not to be a light worker, but it might be that a starseed came here for the experience in itself. So that's one. Then you have the majority, I would personally say the majority of starseeds that came here to be part of the evolutionary solution or assistance or light worker, right? So they're here to be part of the Earth experience, to be part of the change, to be part of the evolutionary push, and to assist the Earth beings to evolve that body, that avatar body. So the avatar body that is the human body is being evolved. The DNA is being restructured. It's being developed even further, or the best way to say it is it's parts of the DNA are being reactivated that have been switched off. This reminds me of the episode so long ago that I recorded for the Patreon, which it was the first time I was understanding it, that they were giving it to me. The Kesher were showing me the DNA strand. I was seeing parts of it grayed out, and they were telling me in this lifetime we might be able to switch on parts of that. And now I understand when they said we might be, because not everybody is equipped for that. So we might have individual beings that are going to have to die. Their avatar bodies have to die, and maybe they still do the whole evolutionary process from their other body. So we have the astral body, we have the emotional and mental body, all those things, bodies, right? The light body. It might be that they continue their evolutionary process, but if the avatar body is so contaminated, it cannot activate the parts of DNA. And if you guys, some of you had signed up for the Cosmic You Video 3, which I talk about DNA and that stuff, you understand how the DNA, the part of it functions, and how it's activated, and all these things, right? And what software we're using, and the hardware aspect of it, and all that. So for those of you who have watched that video will understand what I'm talking about. It's some avatar bodies are going to be so contaminated, or they cannot get there. They will not be able to receive the frequencies, and I guess you could say utilize them to start turning on parts of the DNA, and converting the avatar body and developing the evolutionary process of that human body, right? Those that can't, that body is just not going to sustain the energy coming in. Imagine like grabbing, I don't know. It's like self-combust kind of. It's like, imagine grabbing, a chicken and trying to shove a whole human fractal inside of the chicken. It's going to self-combust. That tiny chicken body, the fractal of the being that's kind of connected to that, the chicken, the consciousness that's connected to that chicken, it's a much smaller fractal than the human body can contain. So imagine an avatar body that's full of contamination, that's really, really full of heavy metals and the diet is really bad, so it just keeps coming in more toxins. There's no clearing out of toxins. There's no working out. There's no rooting so Mother Earth can help me as well. Like nothing, right? Or maybe the person's doing a lot of drugs or alcohol, and so everything's contaminated, right? Everything's contaminated. The body's too dense, too heavy. It cannot leave the 3D structure or the carbon base. And so imagine there's all this. August comes, for example, right? Let's say like August comes and that body is so contaminated, and then the energy comes in. It's not going to be able to receive that August energy. It's not going to be able to receive that package of information that's helping the body go, let me grab onto this and begin to turn on those aspects of my DNA and begin to connect. The body can't do that because it's so contaminated that it doesn't even recognize the information, the frequency. It doesn't recognize the package of information that comes in via frequency. It doesn't recognize it because it's so off balance and so carbonated. So that happens. It gets to a point when we continue to pass time passes and we continue to accelerate. The information that comes in is a bit more intense. It's gradual. The information keeps coming in more intense. That's why March we had a nice package of information coming in, or frequency coming in, and then August is a little bit more, and then the next one that comes in a little more. It's just going to keep going up, right? It's going to keep gradual. It's like when you're doing weights at the gym and you're lifting weights. It's like you're not going to lift, I don't know, 100 pounds in the beginning. You're going to start with 5, and then you're going to do maybe 15, and then you're going to maybe do 30 or something, right? Until you can finally make it to like that 100. Well, this is the same thing. The packages of information, or AKA the frequencies coming in, those are going to gradually be more intense and more intense. So the really carbonated, dense, intoxicated bodies cannot take it in, cannot receive the information or understand it. It's almost like it goes right over their heads or something. Another like really human way of saying it. But then at some point when we get more intense with time, that avatar body can almost self-combust with it. It cannot take it. The frequency coming in, the body cannot take it. It's too severe. So then you'll have people like dropping like flies in that case. Like you'll have people that if they didn't do any work with, I mean, I'm not saying expect August for people to drop like flies. No, but it's like, gradually those souls will be like, I'm not aligned with this. I can't do this, or I didn't sign up for this, or my body's too intoxicated, and they'll cut the cord. And so the person will it's almost like the person just dropped, or a lot of times it might come in as like, for us, it looks like a heart attack, or it might look like the person just like, boom, just, I don't know. They never woke up. They went to sleep one night. They never woke up. Sometimes it's because the soul decided to do it from a fifth dimensional standpoint, the evolutionary process, because they've realized that their avatar bodies just are not aligned with it. Sometimes it's because the person did not sign up for 5D and they're waiting for the moment to like disconnect so that they can go on to their next plan. But just know that you can't receive the frequency. It cannot be received. So I kind of went completely off topic, actually, now that I'm realizing it. I was just saying all that to understand that a lot of starseeds are here to be part of the solution to help the avatar bodies evolve, right? So we're here to wake up to don't be toxic. Detox yourself, align yourself, work with energy, work with frequency, because we're trying to detox the body and align the body so that those frequencies can come in and we can receive them. So, but what happened when a starseed signed up and said, I'm going to go to Earth for whichever of those two reasons, whether it be for the experience or to help the evolution? Whatever the reason is, the starseed signed up to come in. When the starseed signed up to come in, the starseed was well aware of the fact that there's this whole thing going on Earth where there's a thing called karma. And that thing called karma can be accumulated, is usually accumulated with time. So the souls that signed up for that are starseeds, were well aware of that. And so when they signed up for that, they knew the probability of them getting out of the process was going to be many, many, many lifetimes. So I think a lot of people's erroneous perspective of starseed is, I just came here like in this lifetime. Like I was like, for example, me. Oh, I was in a tourist and I came here for this lifetime just now. Like for Lucia. No, our souls came in through the portals of specific times that are opened for them. So you have to find the portal of time that is aligned with your being. So a lot of Victorians came in, for example, Atlantean times. A lot of Lyra Vega soul families, whatever you call it, or soul groups, came in through the Lemuria time, portal of time. I guess you call it portal time. So it, depending on the vibration of the soul and where they were with their evolution, depending on which portal they utilized or used to come in to the Earth system. Because it's not just like, I'm going to go, boom, I'm going to drop myself there. They have to begin to lower their frequency. So let's talk about Lyra Vega or Arcturus or Pleiades or all these things, these systems that we know that some of the starseeds come from. What they had to do was, because a lot of those beings were in 9th dimension, some of them might have been in 12th dimension, like the majority were between 7 and 9 from what I understand. So then those souls needed to begin to slowly lower their frequency. So it wasn't so hard for some of the starseeds that came in through Lemurian portal, because the one through the Lemurian portal, Lemurians began in 9th density, and then the civilization ended in 5th density. And this is all stuff I talk about in Cosmic U. And then the Atlantean, those that came in through the Atlantean portal did have to like do a lot of densifying, I guess you would say, or lowering of the velocity of the tachyonic energy to bring down to create the material form or to be more dense to be able to come into that portal of system. So the ones that came in through Atlanteans, it would have been harder than the Lemurians because Atlanteans began in 5th density and ended in 3rd. AKA that they call it the fall of Atlantis. Sometimes you'll hear that, which is not just about the water and the big wave and all that stuff you hear about. And so most starseeds had to come through one of those 2 portals, which means that we've been incarnating since then. And you can't just sign up to be like, I'm going to go I'm going to just incarnate in the 1800s and then I'll be there for the evolutionary. Like, there's some sort of cosmic law where when you come in, you have to go through a whole cycle. If you're going to do the cycle of evolution, you're supposedly going to have to do the whole cycle, which is why you have to most souls either chose Lemuria or Atlantis, depending on where they came from, because of their vibration is going to be easier to come in through one of those portals. This is for all the souls. For when the soul says, I'm going to go, you have to pick a portal that's aligned with you. You have to be here for the evolutionary process. You can't just be here for, like, the good part, like 2000, right? You can't just be like, oh, I'm going to walk in 2000 and just, like, live through the whole experience and it's going to be great. No, like, when a starseed signed up, it was like you have to be here for the whole process. So when the starseed signed up for that, it knew it was going to be stuck in a karmic samsara wheel. It knew that it was going to have to go through the portal and do a lot of lifetimes and a lot of thousands of years, which for us is an insane amount of number for a human being to think about, like these thousands of years. But for the soul, it's like just like a snap of a finger, a blink of time, especially for the souls that are coming as starseeds, because they've already done their whole evolutionary process on other planetary systems. They've already existed for all this insane amount of time, right? So some souls have been here for 12 to 13,000 years. That's the portal of time that they might have chose, and some of them might have actually signed up and been here for like 26,000. So that's very specific to each soul. I would say that the majority of the starseeds have been here for 12 to 13, but there's a lot that have been here longer. So it depends on each. So then, with that said, then we understand that starseeds have to obey the same exact law that every other soul does become on Earth, which means I'm going to accumulate karma. The really specific thing about karma was when Atlantis happened, things began to get really, 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 really dense. From what I understand, the Babylonian times were like a really, really, really heavy, dense time where things started to get like pretty severe, I guess you would say. And then things just continued to become like really dense and really complicated, because the plan was, of course, that the human race had to go down to 3rd. And I talk about this in Cosmic U. I explain it more. But the human body had to go to the experience of 3rd to fully further develop aspects. And so the idea is that us as starseeds, our souls knew that this was going to happen, that we were going to go to 3rd density. We were going to experience 3rd density. And and with 3rd density, we knew we were going to experience duality. And with duality, we knew we were going to experience negativity. But I don't think that the ratio of negativity that came in was so well calculated, because word got out in the other universes that this whole experiment, and I'm using experiment in a good way, because this has been the experiment of the evolution of the body, of the human body. I'm not using the word experiment as in like we're being abused and we didn't sign up for this. I'm using experiment that other way. So word got out about the experiment here, and that's when the negative races walked themselves in here and took advantage because we were now in third density, and that meant that the astral realm that is fourth density, where all these negative entities live. So some people will call them demons, and some people will call them, I don't know, satanic energies, or I don't know, whatever you want to name it. There are beings that live in that fourth density energy, and now they had the perfect gift of controlling these beings that were stuck in third density, because now they're a density above us, and now they have control over us, or could possibly have control over us. So that's, the whole thing where I talk about like parasitic energies and parasite beings, where they try to like affect your thought forms, or parasitic ideas or thought forms. That's those fourth density energies trying to control you and use you to their favor, because they're still above you in a density form of seeing it. Not that they're better than you, not that they know more than you, just that they're above you in a density, which means that they can sort of kind of have the advantage of controlling you. So that's because the word got out, and then the whole rebellion stuff happened, and there's a bunch of stuff that played out. Like, it's almost like the domino effect, where all these perfect storms came in, and then so the density on Earth got much more complicated than that was previously thought or calculated that it would be. But the grand majority of the star seeds that came in, they came in through one of those portals that I was talking about previously. And when they came in through one of those portals, they came in before this whole decision was made. And they knew that they were going to accumulate karma. They knew that they were going to go through this whole samsara wheel thing, but it wasn't the same as it is now. Because when quarantine was implemented on Earth, what ended up happening was that now, if you had any karmic accumulation whatsoever, you couldn't get out. The only way to get out was to completely have your karma cleaned. And so now, starseeds were actually indeed trapped. I hope you guys enjoyed those snippets, and I hope you took out of it information and knowledge and all these things you need to bring in to become more conscious and more evolved and much more empowered and in control of your life, because you deserve that, and your reality, because you deserve that as well. And okay, so with that said, I want to invite everyone who really feels aligned with everything I was just talking about and discussing and sharing with you guys. I want to invite you all to be part of our membership. We've been seeing previously that it's been growing very slowly. We've been getting new members, and I want to thank all of you who signed up. I'm just so happy to expand the family, because to be honest with you, it really does feel like a family. Like, we support each other, and it just feels like everyone that comes in has the right vibration. Like, it's incredible how the universe works. It's like, you vibrate in a certain way, and people that don't vibrate that way can't like make it in, right? Or don't just reach you. It doesn't stick for them, I guess, or you don't stick with them. But I want to invite anybody who vibrates to come and join us, because we've gotten so many amazing people. We've had people that have been there for years that I feel like I've known them for like ever. Shout out to everyone that's been there for a long time, and shout out to everyone who recently signed up. Thank you so much for signing up. We love this. Like, we love to grow the community. We're giving out additional content because we want to be able to share from a safe place where we're not so censored. It's not so much also the censorship. It's we dive in deeper to things. We share more. We feel like we don't have to be careful with what we say so much. Not that we say anything bad, but like, we just feel more open, and we share a little bit more about ourselves. And you get to see us, because when Lorraine and I do a video together, one video a month together, it's us visually. So you get to see us. Some people feel like, they're more connected. And then we have the community chat where like we're all talking to each other. It's a chat group, and we're all talking to each other on top of the episodes. So I want to invite anyone who really vibrated and felt interested in anything that we talked about in this episode or in Lorena's previous episode. We'd love to see you, and we'd love to chat with you, and we'd love for you to be part of our family and our community and our group, because this is the future. It's people, like-minded people, getting together, and to not feel alone, and to feel integrated into something or a group or a family that just is, it's where you belong. If you finally feel like you belong and you feel understood, and that's amazing, and I love that. Oh, and then I want to make sure to say, because the last episode Lorena and I did together, I was speaking about how I'm doing the angelic healing for July. Now, you guys heard me in the beginning talk about August, and the importance of the August energy. And this is why I'm running the angelic program in July. So the angelic program is a 4-week program. It's 4 weeks, and this is a program that I downloaded from the angelic realm. It just kind of, I was in the middle of an angelic healing for someone specifically, because I do angelic healing, and I was doing it for someone, and when I was about to finish the session, they jumped in with like all these things, and I was like, oh, this is something I have to download, and I have to channel for them, and I have to figure out I didn't even know what the program was going to be. I was as confused as anyone was, like when I was starting to download it. And so we've run the program twice, and now this is my 3rd time running it, and I'm running it on purpose now in July, so it begins in July. I'm running it on purpose because I know I want everybody who's signing up in July to be as aligned and as prepared and as empowered as possible when August hits, because you want to take advantage of that August energy. I'm doing everything I can to take advantage of the August energy. And so the angelic program is a 4-week program where you're going to get 4 emails. Every Monday, you get an email, and on that Monday, you get this I send a document and explain step by step. It's alchemy and ritual stuff that you need to do. So the idea of this program that came from the angelic realm was that there's no more praying to a God up there and saying, oh, please, please send me the love of my life, or send me all this money that I need, or send me a job that I need, or get me that plane ticket to that place I always wanted to visit, or whatever you could possibly play, or, give me better health. There's no more of that. That is 3rd dimensional energy, externally going and trying to reach out to someone to help you. It's now all about empowerment. And so when the angels gave me this program, they were very firm with their word, and they said to me, if you guys and you individuals as beings want to progress, from now on, we will be assisters in that process. So this goes for like anytime you pray to them. They will be assisters, as in they will give you information, knowledge, I guess you could say knowings, intuition, for you to go and do something specific or do something a certain way so you can empower yourself. Because the idea is that you can no longer ask externally, because you have to become your own God, your own guru, your own empowered structure. And so this program is about that. They're giving you a whole week of ritualistic alchemic work that you need to do. I specify everything step by step of what you need to do. You need to do this, you need to do that. I make a video in case anybody's a bit confused with what I wrote down, what I channeled, and the whole document. There's a video format of it. So you just watch the video, and I show you, this is the candle I'm using, this is the plate that I'm using, things like that. And so 4 Mondays in a row, you get an email with that program, the program of the week. Usually it takes you the whole week, like every day you do something, or every other day you're doing something, but it's specific things that you need to do. And at the end of the week, on Sunday, you would be getting energy, angelic healing, distance angelic healing. Everyone that signed up gets it. And you receive it to accompany all the work that you did in the week. So it's 4 emails with a whole week of ritual and alchemical processes that you need to do to empower yourself, to release what no longer suits you, to bring in so it's about karma and dharma, disconnecting from the matrix, and all those great things. I think is wonderful. And then it's 4 angelic healing sessions that you get every Sunday. So if you want to sign up, Lorena's leaving below all the notes and the information about the episode. You'll find the link for the community. You'll find the link for my angelic program for July, and there you only have one option to sign up. I just put some random date, which is the last day you can sign up, which is the 2nd of July. So if you're trying to sign up after the 2nd of July, you won't be able to, because you need that whole month to do the work. So I put the limit. That's the only day you can sign up. You just click on the 2nd of July, and you just pick the only time and date that's there, and it'll take you to the process of finishing to sign up, and you'll automatically get an email already explaining what dates you're getting emails, what dates you're getting healing, and what time you'd be getting it. And then you'd be getting all your emails after that on Mondays. So don't forget to sign up. Don't leave it till last minute, and because then you can't sign up, because I made sure, because last time I had issues with people signing up last minute. And that's it. I just wanted to make sure to let you guys know about the angelic healing, angelic program, because I miscalculated some scheduling thing on my online booking, so you can sign up for it, and it was giving errors, and so I didn't realize it till it was a bit late. So if you tried to sign up last time and you couldn't, I fixed it. Sorry about that. Technical issues from my side, but it's now fixed. And then, yeah, hope to see you guys in the community, to be part of our family, to be part of the community that wants to further grow and share. And we love you all, and empower yourselves and align yourselves and become knowledgeable and expand your consciousness. And you deserve that, because it's time to tap out of the matrix, and this is how we do it. We pick to progress, and we pick 5D, and we pick empowerment, and we pick to live the reality and life we want. But you have to start somewhere. So come out of your comfort zone. Take the steps that you need to, whatever it is that is. And I wish you guys all the best. I love you, and we'll see you next episode. Thank you, thank you, thank you.